The Gotrax F2 is the exact type of e-bike to look at if you're wanting a solid first e-bike. Its relatively small size and folding capabilities make it just about as compact as an adult e-bike can be, but still delivers the performance, quality, and features to make it fun and versatile. Gotrax is most well known for their electric scooters, but have finally stepped into the e-bike market, bringing their knowledge and brand recognition to a new form factor. In typical Gotrax fashion, they have undercut the competition price-wise, delivering a folding fat tire e-bike for hundreds less than similar models from other well-known brands. The $800 price tag is appealing by itself, but let's take a deeper look at what it does well and where it falls short. I'll also dive into extra detail when looking at the components to help out those that are new to e-bikes. The F2 is a 20-inch e-bike with 3-inch wide fat tires, which help with traction and shock absorption. It also has a front suspension fork, which, while small, helps out with ride comfort and takes the sting out of some of the large bumps and potholes you might encounter while riding. You can also lock the suspension out for an extended hill climb with a quick twist of this lever. The adjustable seat post and adjustable handlebar height means it can handle just about any size of rider. E-bike seat posts are often too short for me, a 6'1" rider, but the F2 had seat post length to spare. The overall design is simple but feels solid with very little noise or rattling coming from the components or from the frame while riding. The step-through design makes it easy to get onto even for shorter riders, and the integrated handle makes it easy to quickly lift up and down a set of stairs if needed. With e-bikes at this price, you often get lopsided wheels and incorrectly installed components and all sorts of cheap feeling nonsense like that, but the F2 didn't have any of those issues with everything installed properly and working as it should. I did do very little to it out of the box to get it working and get out riding on it. The components are all very typical for an e-bike this price, but let's take a closer look at what you get. The F2 comes with a 7-speed Shimano drivetrain. Shimano is a well-known and trusted brand in the biking industry. The Shimano Tourney group set is entry-level, but Shimano doesn't really make crappy bike components, and you don't need anything fancier on an e-bike like this. I've generally had good experiences with this specific drivetrain, and it offers smooth shifting and very few issues that can't be adjusted or fixed quickly. Another upside is that if you damage the derailleur or any of the other components, replacement parts are easy to find and extremely inexpensive. Shifting on an e-bike works no differently to a regular bike. The lower gears will help you with hill climbing, but generally you'll find yourself keeping the bike in the gears 5 to 7 when using the higher pedal assist modes. The center display is simple and easy to read, displaying the current speed, battery level, the odometer, and the current pedal assist mode. This is a hub drive e-bike with a 500-watt motor. You get both pedal assist and a twist throttle to activate that motor, and you have 5 different riding modes that limit your top speed based on how fast you want to ride. The F2 has cadence pedal assist rather than torque pedal assist, so the motor will always be active at full power when pedaling rather than sensing how hard you're pedaling. This is much more intuitive to use for new riders, and the riding modes make it easy to set how fast you want to go. The throttle is always set to a top speed of 20 miles an hour, and it's nice to use if you need a break from pedaling. I also like to use the throttle from a standstill to get moving, so I don't have to shift gears constantly when stopping and starting. This is a Class 2 e-bike, so it's limited to 20 miles an hour, but if you know anything about us here at Rider Guide, you know we like to verify everything ourselves with our testing equipment. So we tested the actual top speed of the F2 with the Mode 5 pedal assist and also with the throttle, and sure enough, the bike officially does a true 20 miles an hour, even jumping up to almost 24 miles an hour with the throttle on flat ground. We also did our usual hill climb test to get a feel for how it handles hills, and unsurprisingly, it had no issues getting to the top of the 10% grade 200-foot hill in 14 seconds. Budget e-bikes offer a huge advantage over budget e-scooters in hill climbing because you get to help the bike out by pedaling. Without shifting down from the highest gear, I still was able to easily make it up the hill just by holding the throttle down and helping out a little bit by pedaling. It has a 48-volt 10.4 amp hour battery, and we range tested it in riding mode 4, which felt like the mode that most people will use, with a good top speed of around 17 miles an hour and enough power for hills. I got 22.1 miles in my range test, which matches up almost exactly with Gotrax's estimated range graph on the product page. So many brands for both e-bikes and electric scooters just give you a range number with no context. That number usually ends up being the maximum range if you are riding at an absurdly low speed in the lowest riding mode. Gotrax has done us the favor of actually giving us real range numbers based on which mode you ride in. Why can't all brands do this? There's no excuse for brands to not have this kind of graph on their product pages. You can also use the F2 as a regular bike if you're completely out of battery, but like other fat tire e-bikes, it's a bit harder to ride without any pedal assistance than bikes with normal width tires. Front and rear mechanical disc brakes are the minimum requirements expected on e-bikes, and these ones work fine, bringing the bike to a stop in 16.4 feet from 15 miles an hour. While no e-bike is as portable as a scooter, the F2 does fold down quite small with hinge points in the middle of the frame and at the base of the steering tube. This eliminates the need for a bike rack for hauling it around in a car, and it saves a decent amount of space in your apartment or garage. While compact and relatively light at 54 pounds, it still is a little awkward to move around, especially in its folded state. The max rider weight is 265 pounds, so it should be able to handle most riders, but if you're close to the rider limit or above it, I would look to get a non-folding bike as they will handle weight much better than folding bikes do. The F2 has a removable battery which is hidden sleekly in the frame and is locked in by a key. You have to fold the bike at the frame pivot point to remove the battery, but I still think this system is much better than the exposed rear battery pack you often see on this style of e-bike. You can charge the battery both in or out of the bike. You have to keep the key in the bike to run it, and this only seems weird because you don't have to do this for the F1, the little brother of the F2. We're reviewing the F1 as well, so get sub to see when that comes out. The F1 lets you switch the bike on and then remove the key. The F2 requires you to keep the key in the bike while you ride. As I mentioned at the beginning of this review, the F2 has 3-inch wide fat tires. One of the upsides of fat tires is the ability to comfortably ride on dirt or even in snowy conditions. At my old apartment, I used to have a dirt road shortcut that I could take to get to the grocery store and a number of other places. I used it all the time because it cut my travel time in half, and it was essential that I use a PEV that I could comfortably do the section of dirt road with. That made me really appreciate fat tire e-bikes because I didn't really have to slow down at all the way I had to with most scooters and e-bikes with skinnier tires. That same apartment would get tons of snow during the winter, and without a car, my only reasonable option for leaving the house would be to use a fat tire e-bike because they were the only ones that could get good enough traction on the snow. They really do offer advantages in the right conditions. For extra features, you get a front headlight, rear brake light, and a rack that can handle up to 55 pounds. I used to do shopping runs with a milk crate strapped on the back of a bike rack like this, so it can be useful for someone looking to replace their car for short errands. The F2 is IPX4 water resistance rated, making it safe through puddles, but it isn't suited for rain riding. The fenders will protect you well from any water spray. Everything that the F2 offers is what you typically see for $1,000 or more from other brands, offering a solid, well-rounded folding fat tire e-bike for only $800. This is a great place to start if you're looking for a quality starter e-bike for a commute or casual weekend rides, no matter your size or age. Check it out at the link below. I'm Mitchell with Rider Guide, and I'll see you in the next one.